Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Wendy Myers. Welcome to the Meyer Detox Podcast. And on this podcast, we talk about everything related to how to detox your life, your body, your home. And if you guys want to join my email newsletter list and get the latest information on how to detox your body and home and so many other topics as well, go to myersdetox.com and just click on anything to sign up for my heavy metals quiz. You can click a link on that, click a link on any ebook to download, and you'll get put on my email list. So today we have my really good friend, Stephen Ezell, on the show, and he's going to be talking about one of the most dangerous products in your home today and how to detox your home. And he is great. I always love him on the show. He has such a wealth of information on non-toxic living and how to detox your home. And so he is really a disruptive thought leader in the conscious capital movement. He's positioned multiple companies strongly in their markets, and he has currently created sustainable jobs in 5 different countries. Most relevant to today's talk, Stephen has built the fastest growing eco-chemical manufacturing company in America called Truly Free. And he has pioneered a refillable cleaning revolution with his brand Truly Free, and has inspired hundreds of thousands of families to live a non-toxic life. You can learn more about Stephen and his products, his Truly Free line of products at trulyfreehome.com. Stephen, thanks so much for joining the show.
I am excited for today, Wendy. We haven't talked in a while, and I'm jazzed up for today.
Okay, awesome. So why don't you tell us, how did you start your non-toxic journey?
So journey for me started now 15 years ago, when my firstborn son, we have 5 kids, but when our firstborn son was like a 3-week-old little baby shrimp. Now we have lots of kids, so if everyone's breathing, no one's bleeding, everything's fine. But when it's like your first kid, it's a big deal. Everything's a big deal. So when, my oldest son, he was a tiny baby, I was in charge of one of his first baths, and, I was getting him undressed, and it looked, Wendy, like he was scalded in hot boiling water. And I totally freaked out, and, I called my wife over, and she's a NICU nurse, and I saw her freak out. So we all freaked out, and, ran straight to the pediatrician, and from the pediatrician to dermatologist, we had the pharmacy, and a family member called and said, "Hey, what are you using for laundry detergent?" And I said, "What do you mean? I'm using, what grandma always used, the big bright bottle from the supermarket." And she said, "No, you can't use that. You really need to use, something that's safer, because kids can get allergic reactions." I had no idea. So she said, "Well, before you give them all this pharmaceutical stuff, why don't you strip his clothes and wash it in this homemade thing and see what happens?" So we did, and the next day he was fine. So that was kind of my aha moment, and then I became a full-blown eco-conspiracy theorist, and everything has to go in my house, and and then years went by. We moved from New York to Michigan. I met this really awesome grandma selling laundry soap at the local farmers market. She needed an investor. So, that was a decade ago. She's since well retired from the business. And now what started off with 3 people, a concrete mixer making laundry soap in a garage, is now, the largest, fastest growing eco-chemical manufacturer in the country.
Now, that's amazing. Yeah. Well, tell us about your business and what you make and laundry detergent and all that.
Yeah, so we started with laundry soap. We now have, between cleaning products and skincare products, over 100 products. But when we first started, we were making liquid laundry detergent, because that's what you need. You need liquid products for a high efficiency washer. And we were selling in the health food stores and supermarkets. And I had this idea to build a website, so we started building a website. I didn't know anything about it, and started building a website back in 2015. And about a couple of weeks before our launch of what we were going to launch, I had the bright idea to go to the post office and find out how much does it cost to ship 4 pounds, 50 ounces of liquid laundry products from northern Michigan to all the major cities, California, New York, Florida, et cetera. And we found that it was going to cost about $14 to ship our laundry jug. We're planning on charging $15 for the product. So we knew that was the go out of business strategy. So we were like, what do we do now? And So we started asking crazy questions like, what if, you didn't ship water, and what if, and what came out of these kind of what if think tank that we had was the world's first refillable cleaning system. So you get an empty laundry jug or now a spray bottle with cleaning product once, and then you just get a concentrated packet in the mail when you need it. When you go to the supermarket or, you go to a club store, you get like these big honking jugs of, 250 loads of liquid laundry products. You need to put on like a back brace and like
Oh my
a wheeled dolly to get it out of the store,
Yeah.
right?
And I feel so guilty throwing those gigantic jugs away. I mean, for years I felt
Oh my
terrible.
gosh.
I mean, I would recycle them, but still, you're still like, is it really getting recycled? And but it's just a lot of waste and plastic that's horrible for the planet.
Totally. So, since we've started, the company used to be called My Green Fills. We now rebranded the company Truly Free, which is what we represent, like freedom from toxic chemicals and senseless plastic, et cetera, and just freedom, which is a bizarre idea in today's world. We have saved over 14 million pieces of plastic from ever being produced, right? And
That's
many of that
amazing.
would be floating in our oceans right now.
Yeah.
Not to mention the millions of gallons of, toxic sewage that be in the water treatment plants, or the toxic chemicals that would be on people's backs that they wear every day. So we've, reinvented a category, over a decade ago. And just kind of pushing the envelope on creativity and, green chemistry, plant-based chemistry. And now building a movement. Like we've got a massive community of hundreds of thousands of family members all over the world that, have switched from the store-bought, kind of toxic nonsense to refillable, safe products.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is the problem with the laundry detergents in the store? I mean, my audience is pretty well versed about this stuff, but
Sure.
really just drive that point home that I think
Yeah.
people just, they really need to rethink every product they're using in their home and putting on their body. And you wear clothes, you're just soaking in whatever chemical you're washing that clothes, you're just soaking that in all day long when you wear those clothings.
Yeah. Well, I know like your community is, well astute because they know you, and you're such an amazing thought leader and bringing awareness to all this stuff. So I'll get a little bit more nerdy than I would on a general podcast because, I know your community is way more up to speed. So the takeaway message is that, back in the 40s and 50s, the advent of the soap opera, the petrochemical boom, all the byproducts of the petrochemical industry came, and like, what do we do with all these byproducts? And out of that came cleaning. And one of the major things that happen in the laundry aisle is that these, conventional products, they're usually blue, they're green in liquid, they're very goopy. And the reason why they're blue or green is there's a class of chemicals that are kind of like brought under this umbrella of ultraviolet light brighteners, UV brighteners. And they're designed to leave a blue or a green hue, a film on your fabrics, so that under artificial light, it tricks your eyes into believing that your clothes are brighter than they really are. So when you go to the store and people buy clothes at the mall, over 90% of all the fabrics that you buy at the mall are coated with UV brighteners, and it's only to serve as an optical illusion. It's just marketing. It's subconscious marketing to get people to trick them into buying the clothes off the shelf. And what the laundry chemical industry does is they intentionally leave these chemicals on the fabrics, but under the U.S. Patent Trademark Association or USPTO law, if it's under 1% concentration, which it is, these manufacturers, including me, don't even have to list it on the label. So you actually don't know what is on the fabrics and what's being absorbed into your skin. So that's one. Second is the perfume industry, which is a crazy industry, because you could take something as toxic as complete raw sewage that smells terrible, but in parts per million blended with almonds may smell like hazelnuts. And so the perfume industry is almost a completely unregulated industry. because they're using these tiny parts per million of different compounds to make these fragrances and these perfumes. And they don't, and the chemical manufacturers don't actually have to tell you what's in the product. So those are the two main issues, right? Then you have all these other classifications of surfactants and buffers and fillers and pH regulators, which all kind of like create this pharmacopoeia of really nasty stuff that gets put on our body. And that's why we started in laundry, Wendy, and really passionate about that category because it's the largest in the industry. So think about, you go to the supermarket, you have like the laundry aisle, which is like laundry everything, and then you go to the next aisle and it's literally everything else from dish to hand soap to all-purpose cleaner, window cleaners, everything's in one aisle. But the laundry aisle is just laundry detergent and fabric softener. And people are, literally wearing these chemicals all day long. And, it just leads to a whole bunch of issues, health issues and people are like, oh, well, it must be something else. Well, you're breathing in and, your immune system is constantly being bombarded with all these chemicals, and it's just not cool. So that's why we started there. And we're really passionate about that category.
Yeah. I remember when I used to, get my clothes out of the laundry, and I just loved that, certain detergents would have like this fresh scent. I associated that with it being clean, and nothing could have been further from the truth.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Our products, we use 98% of all of our products have just essential oils. We do use some plant-based fragrance oils just so that we can carry some scent past the dryer. And we do that intentionally because if the majority of consumers, if they don't have a sensory experience, it's not clean. And I actually did a little human study, almost a decade ago now, because I really wanted to know, what people really wanted in laundry. And, there used to be old theory that people wanted whiter whites and brighter brights. Now, it's very common knowledge that people really don't care about whiter whites and brighter brights. They care about smell. And that's why the marketing of the 80s and 90s was always about whiter whites and brighter brights and the towels flapping in the wind. And now it's all about people smelling a towel and having this amazing sensory experience. So I went to Bed Bath & Beyond here in town in northern Michigan, bought 2 brand new towels, hand towels. Came out of the parking lot. I rubbed one on my truck, made it dirty, went to the supermarket, grabbed the big, bright orange and the blue bottle and sprayed this dirty now rag with this laundry detergent and fabric softener, drove across the street to the mall with my little hat on. And I walked around and said, hey, we're doing a test. Let me know which one you think is, better, cleaner, which one you like better. And 7 out of 10 people chose the dirty rag because they all smelt it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then I became convinced, people have been brainwashed into believing that, smell is an indicator of efficacy when it's really not. But that's what we've been conditioned as a society to believe.
Yeah. And what are the health consequences of that, of people choosing toxic laundry detergents full of perfume? What are some of the health issues and ramifications of that?
So again, I'm no doctor and I can't make any health claims because, we're a manufacturer, but I'll tell you what the research shows. I'll talk a little bit about the industry. So everyone, there's one chemical that everyone, for some reason, the industry is really gravitates. It's SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. Everyone's like, oh, it's SLS free. And SLS is basically, you take coconut oil and it gets synthesized and hit with a surfactant, and it creates this surfactant. It creates soap out of coconut oil, and it's pretty harsh on skin. It's a respiratory irritant, but it's not like crazy nasty. There's other groups of surfactants that are like dangerous. Like you don't even want to breathe them. Like they're super nasty. So SLS got this really bad rap, which we don't use, of course, but it's in like toothpaste. SLS is in cake mix. So you get like that velvety smooth cake, at the store. So there's like surfactants and so many things. So then SLS got this really bad rap. So the industry switched to SLES, which is the greener version, which means it's sodium lauryl ester sulfate. And that ethoxylation process, it kicks off a byproduct called 1,4-dioxane, which is a documented carcinogen. So when you ethoxylate a surfactant, you're actually creating a known cancer-causing agent And there's many green companies that are using SLES as an SLS replacement when it's even more nasty than its predecessor. So the industry's wild, right? And it's very unregulated. So we decided to do something about it. And we've just been on the cutting edge of plant-based chemistry for years, and pushing the envelope of creativity using essential oils and plant-based fragrance oils that are the least synthesized in the chain as possible. And do a great job and outperform the nasty stuff by using natural things. And we're really bad at business because, these other companies are really great business people. They hide all of their formulas, right? And they'd say, hey, it's a blend of surfactants, or it's fragrance or parfum. And we're really bad at business because we literally list our entire formula on our website, hoping that our competitors will copy us. It served as success for us, but we joke around like if we were good business people, we'd hide like them. But we have nothing to hide behind, and we hope that lots of other companies copy us.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And so let's talk about what is the most dangerous product in people's households right now. Because I know you have a whole range of products, and there's so many different chemical laden toxic products that people use in their home to try to quote, clean their home. So tell us what it is.
These I would say that the most common, there's two products that are the most common, really dangerous things in our people's houses. And one is drain cleaner and the other is oven cleaner. So those two classes of chemicals are just wicked, especially if it's like the easy type aerosol sprayers for cleaning the oven. But to me, the most dangerous the most dangerous chemical in your house is your laundry detergent. Ounce for ounce, the oven cleaner is way more toxic. But how often do you spray your armpits and your body with oven cleaner? Well, if you're like a normal human, it's like never, right? You don't do that. One, because within minutes, you're going to get chemical burns and you're going to the hospital. So most people would not be spraying their bodies with oven cleaner. But how often do you wear, not you, but I mean like you, the listener, wear laundry chemicals? Well, if you go to the supermarket, you're wearing them right now. Right? You're literally wearing laundry chemicals all day long. You get out of the shower, your pores are open, and you take a towel that's laden in these chemicals, and you're like making micro suds from the chemicals that are dried on this towel, and you're wiping them into your body. And then you're sleeping on them and you're wearing them. And when you should be detoxifying out of your armpits and behind your knees, you're creating sweat, you're rehydrating these chemicals, and you're making a pathway for them to get on your body. So to me, that's the most dangerous category, even though the acute toxicity of of like oven cleaner or drain cleaner are way more dangerous. Laundry is where to start.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point that you make right there, because I think people don't really think through these things. They're not really thinking through, they're trying to, get rid of the bacteria in their clothing. Using laundry detergent with antibacterial agents is, my worst nightmare. But can you talk a little bit about that, the problem with that?
So the industry has woken up a little bit. And one of the main ingredients that has been enlightened over the years is triclosan, which is a class of chemicals, which is a documented carcinogen that was used in mostly the antibacterial soaps and cleaners. And, especially in this po-COVID kind of era, everyone's concerned about germs, and we shouldn't be concerned about germs. God gave you an immune system. Take care of that. You're fine. And everyone's concerned about killing bad things, killing bugs. So, laundry chemicals and, around antibacterial. Most germs, viruses can't survive in an alkaline environment. Laundry detergents, all of them, ours included, are alkaline. They can't survive in an environment where lipid fats break apart. Well, that's what soap does. That's why everybody's like, hey, wash your hands for 20 seconds with just soap and water, because literally the soap itself lowers the surface tension of those oils and they break apart. So all the payload of a germ or bacteria dies. So you have absolutely zero need for disinfecting your laundry. And if you have a dryer, well, your dryer is getting to 180 degrees. That's cooking everything that's in there too. And if you're a purist like we are this time of year in Northern Michigan, we actually have a clothesline. I know it's a novel idea. And the sun kills all that stuff. And so, and naturally brightens clothes too. So there's no need to have anything that kills anything in your house, especially laundry.
Yeah. Tell me about dryer sheets, because I hate dryer sheets. I absolutely detest them. And talk to us about that and why those are probably like the super, super toxic part of people's laundry routine.
The leading laundry sheet, again, I can't mention names. You can, I can't, is averages around 11 documented carcinogens.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, there's a lot of very nasty chemicals, and the majority of them are petroleum-based chemicals because they're designed to, with non-ionic surfactants and, negatively charged ions to mitigate static, add UV brightener, but mostly is to add fragrance, right? Add a really quote unquote nice smell to the laundry. So it's really, the solvents that are used in impregnating those sheets with the fragrances is just nasty stuff. I mean, nasty. So again, we needed to replace, those, like we've replaced everything in the home that's truly free. So this is actually my favorite product we've ever made. I know you know about our Dryer Angel project. I love this story. So we wanted to replace dryer sheets because, our laundry detergent, like our laundry wash and our softening rinse, which we call final rinse, it does leave a little bit of essential oil smell, but it's not like a fragrance bomb. And people want that sensory experience. But when you're dealing with essential oils and plant-based fragrance oils, they don't last a long time out of the dryer because they're volatile. They don't stick. So our members were demanding that their clothes would smell nice. So we came up with this dryer sheet alternative called Dryer Angels. I don't have one on my desk, but you have an angel. It's a hand sewn angel. It's filled with a sachet, corncob material, essential oils. You throw it in the dryer, fluffs your clothes real nice, smells awesome. But that one product, we funded Deaf Village in Jamaica. We've started multiple industries in Jamaica, but we have 12 full-time women that sew dryer angels for us in Jamaica. And years ago, that ministry couldn't keep up with our growth. So we partnered another group out of Southeast Asia. That one product has liberated hundreds of women out of sex trafficking. So we literally liberate and free slaves. They get rehabilitated, they get healed. And then we have another dozen women in Southeast Asia that were formerly trafficked and gone through some really amazing transformational stories. And they have sustainable jobs sewing dryer angels for us. And now we're opening up a sewing shop in Haiti, on the border of Haiti, Dominican Republic, on the DR side, again, under the intention of creating sustainable jobs in communities where women are at risk or have been formerly trafficked. So it's a real mission-driven product. I'm really fired up about it. See the lives that we've changed through it, just through replacing dryer sheets.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that you're doing things to help the planet, not only as far as like the chemicals and helping kind of liberate people's homes, help them to make them more non-toxic, but, helping so many women around the world as well with this project. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. And again, what started off with three of us with an idea, a guy with a laptop and a concrete mixer mixing up soap, now it's, almost 130 employees all around the world. And, it's been pretty wild to see how, God has just used us to create change and impact an industry. And now there's lots of companies that are doing refills and kind of chasing after us, which is great. Please, I not only do I welcome the competition, the industry has to change anyway. So, we're honored that we were kind of the catalyst to start it. It just took us 10 years to be an overnight success. We were the forerunner, kind of paving the way for a new industry.
Yeah. And I think another reason you're so successful is you care so much about people. You clearly are just a giving person, a caring person, and you care about your customers, you call them your family. And I just really love the work that you're doing. And I was just, really happy to have you on the show again.
Wendy, I have been even before you and I became friends, I've always been a fan of your work. I know you've taken incredible risk in your career, educating and exposing truth and enabling people to heal on their journey. And, the fact that I get to rub elbows and support and, create value for thought leaders like you, this is life mission work.
Yes.
So keep up your good work too, please.
Yeah, thank you. I know we met on the Dr. Nandy TV show, which was the
Yep.
Fateful Encounter. And it was just a pleasure to meet you. And I loved your segment on that show. And I thought, wow, I just really love your work and what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. We'll keep up the good work. I promise.
Yes. Yeah. And so everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Myers Detox Podcast. I'm Dr. Wendy Myers, and I bring you the world's experts on how to have a non-toxic home and how to detox your body and other topics that are really important to you, helping, meet your health goals, because you deserve to feel good. And I hope that this show helped you today. Talk to you soon.
The Myers Detox Podcast is created and hosted by Wendy Myers. This podcast is for information purposes only. Statements and views expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Wendy Myers and the producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guests' qualifications or credibility. Individuals on this podcast may have direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.